Hey y'all, how is everyone doing? This is going to be a short conversation because I have to go somewhere, but I had these really powerful downloads and I really want to share them with you guys. And before we get started, I just want to say that this conversation is not for everyone. It's like if you're not there yet, this conversation is so not for you because I know it's going to be very triggering. And at some point in my life, a couple months ago, this conversation wasn't for me. Like I didn't buy it, but I think this is something that we need to open our minds and open our consciousness towards. I'm going to do that, and I'm expecting a couple of calls during this live, so the audio will be kind of off, but we're going to roll with it, right? So the first thing I want to talk about in this whole live was, how do you overcome resistance? How do you obliterate the resistance that you have towards high cash months? How do you do that? How do you attract and how do you magnetize it? Because I remember when I first got into this whole coaching space, one thing that always I was like, what are these mystical words like, get rid of this, and very very vague fluffy terms like you're a this is how you're supposed to behave. But the thing is, in reality, these things that we have sort of like mystified, they're very simple and very practical. Like it's something that we already do, but maybe we're not doing it enough, right? So first and foremost is, we all have that vision. We all are like, you know what, that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want to get to. But the thing is, we don't persist in it enough, right? I want you to become have this vision in your mind so powerfully, so strongly, that this is exactly what I want. And I'm not going to waver from it. I'm not going to entertain any thought that is coming up that's against it, right? So I want you to really get in the habit of being so persistent with what you want. And literally, I say this out loud these days when I have these negative thought patterns, when I have old stories coming up, I'll be like, you know what? I reject that reality. You know what? I reject whatever is coming up for me right now. That's not something I unsubscribe to this reality. I literally did that to my brother just a couple minutes ago. I was like, I reject this reality, and that's exactly how you persist, and you are telling your body. And then we talk about this whole mystical word is being the vibrational match to what you're asking for. It's literally this. It's literally rejecting anything that is not supportive for the vision that you're creating, right? I know I'm rushing a little bit, but I'm expecting a call. I gotta go. The next thing that I want you to really get super specific about is that your thoughts, your train of thoughts, it has a frequency of its own. I can't be at a frequency of 0.0020 hertz and be like, you know what, I want this this radio station to come at this frequency, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to tune your frequency to get to that. You want to tune it to the frequency of what you're asking for. You have to raise your vibration. And again, as I said, I don't want you to get confused with this verbiage. It's as simple as, you have to be mindful of your thoughts. Are these thoughts in congruence with what I'm asking for? Will the person who already has these things, will they be thinking these thoughts? Will they constantly be checking their phone? Will they be upset about their likes? Will they be upset about their story views dropping? Will they be upset if someone, asks them about the price and then doesn't pay? Or someone says your prices are too much. Will they be bothered by that? Of course not. They'll just be they'll be so unfazed by that. They'll just be like, that's weird. That literally never happens to me. I have 10K months already. What are you asking about? What are you talking about? It doesn't even make sense, right? So your thoughts, they are super important for you to be in a vibrational match for that frequency. And the next thing is, oh my God, when I first learned about this, it blew my mind, which was, you cannot be in a state of receiving while also being in a state of wanting. You can't be working towards two different things, right? You either are in a state of wanting, and you're either in a state of receiving. So when you want something strong enough, you have been affirming, you have been visualizing, and you are you're working towards it with all your energy and everything. And then there'll be a point where you're like, of course it's going to happen, right? And then you're like, I don't feel like visualizing that because I have believed it so much. It's become part of my code. I don't have to keep persisting on it anymore. And that's exactly when that will happen for you, because you are no longer in the state of wanting. You have progressed to the state of receiving and having that thing right now, right? I know I'm really doing this. This is not my style. I go so in depth. But as I said, this is something that we want to be doing. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yes, Rizana. I'm glad you agree. How you get this? Yes. And how do you become a vibrational match to what you're asking for? Or how do you come to the state of receiving is by being in the state of gratitude of already having it. This is why visualization is so powerful, because you visualize yourself with that goal of yours, whether that's manifesting your dream partner, whether that's having a baby, whether that's traveling to a new country. You get in the state of receiving by actually being in that state of having gratitude of it already happening, right? So that is, it gets to be that simple. It gets to be that simple. The thing is, we are looking for complicated answers. We're looking for, it can't be that easy. It can't be, these things can't work. Like, how does that make a difference? But it does. It's literally like this resistance that you have is just in your lack of belief. You still vibrating at that scarcity mindset. You still believing that you're not going to have that. Like, it's not possible for you. It might be possible for 1,000 other people, but it's not going to be possible for you. You are the special case, right? We have that, but we don't think like that when it comes to you being special case in rightful scenarios, right? Like, it's the craziest thing. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to cover was being in a habit of, like, just as we are in a habit of remembering our unpleasant past, things that others have done wrong to you, or being constantly in a state of like, what happened wrong in my life, or what is something that I have been wanting but it hasn't happened, or being so diligent. Like, it's like you're almost like a program that's running on this code, which is like, things never work out for me, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, it's because of my past, it's because of how complicated my life is, like my life is not very favorable, this is not something that's easy, I can't get that, and all those things. Like, you keep saying these things so much to yourself. So I want you to get just as obsessed with your future as you are with your past, right? So keep getting in the habit of remembering your future, right? It's like, literally, like, when you are in the state of like remembering your future, what happens is, it'll be like you have already lived it. Why do you remember your past so much? Because you have lived it. So now when you train your brain, you're like, what, I'm going to remember my future like I have lived it. So this is going to be a drum roll moment, like, literally. So why won't you get that? You automatically release any sort of resistance to that because you have literally lived it. You have lived that reality, right? So it's literally visualizing yourself celebrating a 10K month. Like, imagining that you have a cake and you're like, that's 10K is written on it, and you're sitting with your husband and you're like celebrating that. So when you get in the habit of remembering your future like it has already happened, you release that resistance. It gets to be that simple. You don't have to have, of course you need to have therapy, you need to do mindset work and all that, but it doesn't create a resistance to what you're asking for. You can have what you want right now along with all the baggage. You can have all of that. Or you, like, I know people have this thing which is like, oh my God, like, it's not going to be happening, it's not going to be possible, I have too much baggage, I have like, way more mindset drama than anyone else. My life is like, I have like too much personal drama, or I have had that. I've had all of these thoughts, and I have been pushing my goals so far away from me, thinking that it's not going to be possible for me. Like, no matter what, this is not going to be possible for me. Oh, I'm so glad you feel it that way. Thank you so much for saying that. Why is it waving? Okay, someone was just trying to enter this live, and I'm like, no, we're not going to be doing that today. The next thing that I really want to talk about was, as I said, like, it gives you this whole sense, my God, like, why is this person trying to join this live? I don't want you in here. Please stop distracting me. How do you throw someone out of the live? Okay, you can be that resistance right now, but I'm not going to let you affect my energy, because this is something that when you actually accept that I am ready for what I'm asking for right now, despite of all the stuff that I have going on, that's when it'll happen. Because most of the time, these resistances, you are creating that. You're creating all of these resistances by constantly reminding yourself why it's not possible. The world already has enough barriers. Society, the government, the way economy works, all of these things already have enough resistance. It has enough barriers. Why are you adding to that your own limiting beliefs? Right? So let that whole thing go. As I said, it gets to be as simple as you remembering your future. You remembering your future enough times, you letting go of these blocks and these thoughts which are not supporting. Of course, I'm not telling you bypass those emotions. Sit down one day, process these emotions, understand why they're not true, why that will never be your reality. Because most of the time, we are just being, I don't want to say the word, but we are being that to ourselves, right? Just understand that, like, be mindful of your thoughts, catch yourself and be like, you know what, this is not going to take me there. This is not going to be something that's going to be supportive. And understand that your thoughts will be a vibrational match, will be a frequency to what you're asking for. So I hope this short and a very I don't know what I felt like I was in this speed answering session or like speed dating session where I had to get everything out because I had to go somewhere. But I hope this was valuable, because sometimes it gets to be simple and we like to like really overcomplicate it. But yeah, it gets to be all of that. And if any time in future you're having these resistance, see this built up of emotions, just come back to this live. I would love it if you could DM me and tell me like what's something that really resonated with you, what's something that you are taking from this live. Come back and drop me those things, or tell me your goals, tell me your manifestations, and like let me know how that goes, because I'm thrilled at how easy it gets to be, just because we have embodied that identity, right? So let's do that. And I hope all of you have an amazing day. Thank you for joining in.